Welcome to the Japan Game Junk podcast. I'm so happy and thankful that you're here.
And hello, welcome back to Japan Game Junk, talking a bit about a store visited on Sunday, the 30th of March, 2025, this time being the first time we talk about an Otachu store. So, Otachu is, Otakara, finding a treasure, I guess. Now, many of these stores have basically converted into all crane games and very little to actually buy. But this particular one, where I'd been over many years in Hitachi city of Ibaraki, the Hitachi branch does still have quite a bit that is worth checking. Unfortunately, the very retro games are not really being bought anymore, so they don't buy it from people anymore. So there are very few as far as pre-PS1 games that are not made by Nintendo. So very little in the way of PC Engine or 3DO or what have you. But still, and nothing Xbox, but still worthwhile to go in here to see what they have. First thing I noticed was a complete in-box Super Mario Brothers Game & Watch. Remember, these things were fairly ubiquitous, and I think a lot of people bought them already, but if you don't have one, included in the box and the sleeve and everything, 2750 yen. It's the cheapest I've ever seen a complete Game & Watch Mario. They had a turquoise Nintendo Switch Lite, which had everything, no problem at all, no imperfections, got the box and everything, for 12,000 yen. So, yeah. If you want one, then go get one. Girls and Panzer, the animation or comic, whatever it is, that was converted into a game for the PS Vita. The huge box version, which has CD and art book and all sorts of stuff, was 2,000 yen. There's a very cheap one for this. Here, the Boku no Natsuyasumi Portable for the PSP. Lately, these games have really shot up in price, but here, the game only, no box or anything, is 1,000 yen. I wouldn't pay that much for myself, but yeah, that's very cheap compared to most these days. And Makai Mura, so Ghouls and Ghosts collection for PSP. This is the best price version, where it was re-released for a cheaper price with a different box art, $27.50. But still, that's fairly decent. Jet Coaster Dream, 1 or 2, either one, they were both being sold for 1,500 yen for Dreamcast. And then one thing that I did purchase on this date was, what is this game from Falcom? Is it The Legend of Heroes? Something like that. But disc only, Legend of Heroes 3 for PS4 and its CD soundtrack. Discs only, but for 100 yen for both. Wow. And then the cheapest I've ever seen in Japan, Home Alone for Super Famicom, 2,000 yen. Got Macaulay Culkin screaming on the front there. And then Tiny Toon Adventures, Dota Dota Dai Undokai, so it's the sports-based game for Super Famicom, 1,500 yen. Very cheap. Likewise, cartridge only, so those were in these as well. Contra 3 or Super Metroid for Super Famicom, 2,000 yen each. But Pop Full Mail was 3,000 yen. And there were so many games. I can't say how many 100 yen games there were. PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PSP, PS Vita, all sorts of stuff that were just in their junk section. They have a very good junk section at this store. For some reason, an Xbox One game, Occultic 9, some sort of it's a weird image on the front where this woman's breasts are being looked at from an impossible angle to make them look as big as possible. But yeah, this disc with a scratch on it, it says 15,000 yen for Xbox One game. It's kind of crazy. Oh, I mentioned before that didn't have Xbox stuff. Yes, only the showcase, only rare stuff. You can't buy, Call of Duty or whatever for Xbox. SNK Arcade Collection 0 for PSP was being sold for 10,000 yen, which is actually one of the few games that I've sold in the past 10 years, as opposed to collecting, as I bought it for about 1,000 yen from a Wonder Goose store, and then sold it to a store after this got rare or whatever for 15,000 yen. So quite a bit of a profit there. Even if I had bought this game at this time for 10,000 yen, in the end it would have been a profit for me to have that game. I didn't get it, of course. They had 2 boxed SNK Neo Geo CD joystick controllers. Controller Pro, they're called, for 6,000 yen each. I have a couple, but I don't have the boxes, but hey, you know. And the last thing I got, and I got it just because I didn't have it, the Pilot Wings for Super Famicom instruction manual. Sold off just as it was for 50 yen. Oh, and by the way, that Occultic 9 game I mentioned for the Xbox One, they also had it for the PS4 for 1,000 yen. So I guess you really want to collect those special ones. And the game I would have bought if it were cheap, Beavis and Butthead in Virtual Stupidity for PlayStation 1 was 3,000 yen. It's a bit, I think it's cheaper than most places, but still a bit rich for my taste with, that kind of thing. So anyway, it was a fun place to visit. It's been over a year to go there. And I think anyone who is in the Hitachi city, this is the very south portion, very near Tokai Village for those who know. But yeah, it's a nice place to see. So go see it. Thanks for listening and goodbye.